Good morning, everybody. How are we all doing today? Let me just move that down a little bit. So, I am from home today because we've obviously shut the shop. One of us, Jem, has been in contact with someone who may have COVID. We're not sure yet. We're waiting for all the tests. So, while we're waiting for the tests, and they should be back today or tomorrow because they had the test done yesterday. We'll be in a better position to know what the score is then. So obviously we'll let everybody know what's going on. But I've decided it's the best thing to close the shop, even though obviously Jem and I have got no symptoms whatsoever. And it's highly unlikely that we have got it, to be honest. But just to be on the safe side, I've decided to close the shop because at the end of the day, how does it all get spread? It gets spread by people not taking responsibility, doesn't it? And not thinking about others. So for us, it was the best thing to do. I decided, we're gonna. As soon as I found out about it, we closed, and we'll probably be back open next week. But we've got to take responsibility of these things. Whether you believe in the virus or not, whether you believe in wearing masks or not really. I don't really care about any of that. At the end of the day, I have a duty of care to all my customers and all my clients. And it's the right thing to do. Better be safe than sorry. Whether it's a COVID virus, whether it's a flu virus that's particularly bad, that's getting everybody, whatever it is, there's something there that's spreading. And you can't be... I'm not a doctor. I don't know all the ins and outs of everything. So it's much safer for everybody for us to just close the shop and find out get the results. Once we've got the results back, we'll be able to make the next choice and the next decision. If it does come back that there is a positive for either Jem or myself, then obviously we'll close for 14 days. Not a problem. We've done 3 months and we survived that, came back better. So 2 weeks is nothing, is it, really? And at the end of the day, we're working with the public, so that's our main duty of care. It's nothing to do with money, it's not to do with our financial losses. I 100% believe that we really did come out all right from the last lockdown, and we've been super busy since, and I really believe that we will be looked after anyway. So I'm quite savvy with my business sense anyway, so there are already things financially in preparation, like the rent is already covered for next month, so there's things already sorted, so I'm not worried at all about finances. But we get a lot of people that come in the shop who are vulnerable, and we get a lot of people who come in who we would, if something happened to them and it got traced back, how bad would that be? So it's much better to be safe than sorry. So that's the decision that I made yesterday, to close the shop, and it's a good one. So we shall see what happens, but I'm expecting us to be back open next week anyway. But if we're not, then we're not, but I will keep everybody updated. So as you know, Thursday's Thoughtful Thursday. I'll do the cards, but on a Thursday I like to do a little chit chat about things. Now last night I joined this new group. I did this networking group, and within it we were picking cards and we were doing things. We were picking messages and going in groups from the cards. So there's 2 things I wanted to talk about. We touched a little bit on it last Thursday, on power. We spoke boundaries, but we touched a little bit on power. And also I want to talk about personal responsibility in general. So power, owning your power. Now we've got Mercury in Libra today, and what that means, Mercury is the planet of communication. So communication at the moment, we're building up to a full moon, so we could find that things get a little bit tense. But Mercury and it's in Libra, so Libra is the harmony sign, it's the love sign, it's ruled by Venus. So Mercury in Libra means that there could be some communication mishaps, but it doesn't have to be. So it's about doing things, saying things in harmony, saying things with love, and just not being a pushover, definitely not being a pushover. So knowing your boundaries, knowing your power, but doing it in a way that you're not falling out with everybody, There's enough things going on in the world, you don't have to fall out with people at the moment as well. So owning your power, being aware of your own power and how much you give to other people and how much you take back. Now, I think I have spoke about this. Power can be a medicine. In cultures, Native American particularly, it's seen as a medicine. And if you give too much power away, you're going to give your medicine away. So what happens when you don't take your medicine? You become ill. Now this could be mentally ill, it could be physically ill, but either way, you're going to be ill. So holding on to your power is extremely important. And it's taken me a while to learn that. I have given my power away far too much in the past. But since I've reclaimed my power, everything for me has worked really, really well. Strangely, for those that I gave my power to, they need to find their power for their things to work out well. I'll say that. But it's really important, guys, that you understand your own power. And you know, when you go around somebody's house and maybe, you know, they're really upset, there's a lot of grief going on at the moment, so you want to be there for somebody. So you help them and you encourage them with words, but then sometimes you can come away feeling absolutely drained. They're uplifted and you're really drained. So you have to be really careful about putting your own little bit of bubble of protection around yourself so that you can protect yourself as well. Because otherwise, if you become down as well, then the next person you'll get in contact with, they become down, and so on and so on. So we need to keep the vibrations rise at the moment, particularly at the moment where everything is a little bit still weird there. So finding your power and understanding how much to give away, and we don't want to hold on to everything, because that's not good either. You need to have a little bit of an energy flow with things. So holding on to too much of power isn't good, but just recognizing when to give and when to take back a little bit. And if you are with somebody, then maybe, you know, particularly those that do life coaching, those that do readings, those that do energy healing, it's really important, and you guys would know, I'm sure, that you need to bring a little bit of that power back. So as much as you're giving to help somebody, you'll need to be retaining a little bit of that power at the end of the session there, and you'll work out your own ways of doing that. Now, even though I share an awful lot of things, there is still some things I don't share. There is still some things I keep to myself, which holds my power, because I would be completely deflated if I gave all of it away. So just have a little look in your own lives of how much power you give, and is it equal? Is it a fair balance? Are those that you're helping, do they help you back a little bit? Is it a give and take, or is it all just take? Because if it is, that's not quite right, is it? It needs to be fair. And do you know what? I've got this new top. I've had it a year, and I've still got, you know, when it has those plastic labels, I'm going to have to, I can't do it. I'm going to have to get scissors on it, but it's irritating me. But you're going to have to find a way of getting the balance within all relationships there. Now we're moving into the full moon in Taurus. So Taurus, I'll talk more about that tomorrow. I'll do a proper discussion on that tomorrow, because the full moon is on Saturday, but I don't normally do a live on Saturday. But it's about values. Taurus is about values. It is about sometimes property or materialistic things, ruled by Venus again, so there is this love connection or this harmony connection within it. But predominantly it's going to be about your values, your security, your home, your properties, and your money, your finances. Your finances are ruled by Taurus. So it could be that you're looking at getting that side of things in order, your finances in order now, or your power to do with your values. What do you value? And how do you value yourself? It's a really good time, because it's a full moon, so it will illuminate things, maybe things that you'll need to let go of, but it will be a good time to look at what you value in yourself and how you value yourself. And are you giving too much of yourself away? Are you losing your power? Now, within all of that, you've got personal responsibility. And personal responsibility, it's one of the 7 principles, and it's probably the one that I'm most... most funny with, I think it's extremely important to take personal responsibility. And it's so easy to blame everybody else for this or for that. This has gone wrong because of that person. This has happened because of that person. But the buck really stops with you. And if you're allowing that person to take your power, or you're allowing that person to do something that's detrimental to you, although that person is doing it, you're allowing it. So by taking personal responsibility for your own stuff and how you let other people, use you, if you like, that's down to you. You can't change them, can you? But you can change you. You can change how you deal with things. So when you take a step back and really look at your personal responsibility and really think, do you know what, I'm allowing that, then that's when you can gain your power back as well. That's when you can really start to think, all right, I'm going to stop that now. I like I said, you can't change the people. They're still going to do what they're going to do. But honestly, once they realise that you're taking responsibility for your own stuff and you're not going to allow them to start treading on your toes or whatever it is, they move on. They definitely move on, because they're the type of person that wants someone who hasn't got power or hasn't got their responsibility. So they're just going to move on. Don't worry about everybody else. Think about yourself for a minute. Think about yourself. Think about how other people are with you, and if you're not happy, this could be in a working relationship, or it could be in a romantic relationship. Could even be to do with your parents. You know, we could blame our parents for everything. It could be even the children. You know, the children wind you up. I'm probably the worst with the children. I've let them get away with murder most of the time, and they do run rings around me. And then when you try and get to the point where you're trying to put some boundaries in place, and it's like, oh, it's difficult because you've already let them get away with so much. But there comes a point when you have to sort of say, right, it stops now. I'm going to take my personal power back, and I'm going to take personal responsibility for everything. So particularly when you're in a relationship, or any relationship, or in a working relationship, or love relationship, whatever it is, you're allowing that person to do whatever it is to you. You know, I see a lot of people where they have control, and I've been in one, a controlling relationship, which is probably going to be hard for people to get, particularly as I'm quite controlling myself. But I allowed all that to happen, and once you recognise that you allow things to happen, you can do something about it. You know, there's no point blaming this person and that person for things, because that's the way they are. But you've taken that choice yourself there. Now, you know, sometimes there's some odd little things there that you might not be able to have complete control over, but generally speaking, you can change things. So start thinking about where you need to take more responsibility. You can blame this, you can blame that, you can blame the virus for things, you can blame this for that, but at the end of the day, you're the one that's in charge of your life. So you have to take some ownership of it. And say, for example, we've had to close the shop, so that's my responsibility. Now, if I don't pay my rent next week, that's down to me. That's my responsibility. So as a business person, it makes sense that you have a few months worth of rent put by. That just makes sense. And if you can't do that, you need to be looking at whether you can run the business successfully or not, or whether it is working or not. But at the end of the day, if I don't have my rent, that's it, game over for me. When we had lockdown, 3 months, I didn't know, obviously we didn't know it was going to be 3 months, but I did know because I did the cards, and I just knew. I said to Jem, it's 3 months, and I already had 3 months worth of rent. That is all I had, but I had 3 months worth of rent put by, so I never felt bothered. So this next week, the rent is sorted because I've taken personal responsibility. I'm aware that something bigger is going on, so you just have to step up a little bit. You have to think, right, okay, this isn't going to beat me as a business. I'm not going to be one of these ones that fail in the business, that's going to lose my business down to it. I'm going to make sure that I'm responsible by having a little bit extra put by, making some sacrifices in other areas so that I've got my security there, so that me and Jem have still got a place to go back to work with. That's my responsibility. In relationships, if there's something that you're not happy about, it's your responsibility to do something about that. It's all, you know, Rachel, sorry you had to close. Yeah, it's not a big deal, Rachel. And to be fair, it's only going to be for a few days, I'm sure. But to be fair, me and Jem have got absolutely loads and loads of things to do. So we are really looking at it in a positive, that these next few days we can just crack on and do what we want to do. Because we said that we were either going to, if we had a lockdown, we were either going to go into lockdown, or we were going to take a week off anyway, just to catch up with things. So, you know, things happen for a reason, don't they? So it's not a big deal in our life. I get that some people do have it as a big deal. I'm not going to take that away from them. But at the end of the day, it is your personal responsibility, and you can't, it is what it is, you know, there's no point blaming everyone or anything. It is down to how you deal with it and how you're being prepared for things. And when you go into business, one of the first things you learn is to have your rent covered, but also have a few months rent by. You know, I think when I very first left school, one of the things my dad said, always have 3 months of wages put by, just in case you lose your job, and then you've got a time in between where you're looking for a job, you've always got that little bit of safety net. You don't have to stress. So I think it's just been inbuilt in me right from really, really young age that you need to take I need to take responsibility. And I'm a Taurus, so finances is going to be my main thing. So that is my security. With somebody else, it's going to be something else will be their priority. But just because that's the way I am, luckily it's worked out in my favour there. But my point being on all this anyway is that take responsibility in your life. If there's something around you that you're just not completely happy with, look at where you're letting that power go. Look at who's draining you. Look at why you're letting that power go. Maybe you need to work a little bit more on yourself. Maybe you need to work a bit more on your shadow self. Morning, Mandy. Miss you, Mandy. Haven't seen you for ages. Vicky, why have you had to close? Vicky, it's because between me and Jen, one of us have had contact with somebody who may have the virus, and it is only a may. They're still waiting on it. So, well, better be safe than sorry. We've decided to close for a few days until we get the test results, because we don't want to put people at risk if there is a positive result there, and it is a big if, but it's all right. Thank you guys for your positive messages there. Good, thank you for sharing. Morning Vicky, morning Rachel, evening Maya, morning Margaret, morning Jem, morning Zoe, morning Tanya, Cares, Linda, good morning Leslie, good morning Kerry, good morning Pauline, good morning Zoe, Rose, Debbie. So if there is Hayley, good morning. If there is, because I know Pauline's been in this week. Gillian, good morning. Debbie, lots of you coming in. Lisa, good morning. If anybody has come into the shop and there is a positive, obviously we'll let people know. We have to let people know, that's the thing. And that's the point of track and trace. Now those people that put down Donald Duck as their name, if there is a positive there, well, you're not going to get found, are you, to be able to track and trace you. But that's your personal responsibility. And when my responsibility in the shop is to have the track and trace forms and to follow procedures as a business person, whether I agree to it or not, and I do have my conspiracy theories, but as a business person, I have to follow the guidelines, and that's it, end of. So I have to give you the track and trace. What you put down on that is totally your responsibility. I can't force you to put your name on it. My responsibility is to do what I'm told. I'm doing what I'm told. Your responsibility is to put down whatever you want. So, you know, that's up to you guys. But I am big on taking personal responsibility there. So what I'm saying is, you guys have a little look in your lives, in your relationships, where you might give a bit too much power away, where maybe working relationships or personal relationships or parent relationships, maybe you're always the one that gives. Maybe you talk to a brick wall sometimes. It's very draining. It's very difficult when somebody's got mental health problems, because that's a whole different ball game. But it can be very draining when you're giving everything of yourself and you're telling somebody, you know, this is the advice, this is the guidance, and it will help you, and then they choose not to do it for whatever reason. Now, it could be because they've got mental health problems and they're really stuck in a position where they actually, you know, it's very, very difficult for them just to go, yeah, okay, I'm going to do that. Get that. But there are other people that aren't in that position. They're a bit low, they're a bit depressed, but they probably haven't got the mental health side. And I'm not saying they're using their mental health to cover up their laziness, if you like, but there are definitely some people that just don't want to make that change. They've got used to being in their little bubble, they've got used to being poor me, and that's what they're comfortable with. So anything outside that is they're going to come out of their comfort zone, and it's going to feel weird, and they're not used to that for whatever reason. It could be because they've been brought up like that, or their relationships. But at some point, if they're coming to you for advice, if they're coming to you for help, and they're not taking that, it's ever so draining, ever so draining. So you may have to look at how much power you give away to that person. You'll still be there, still care for them, still love them, but it's just that it's not working, is it? So you have to relook at things there. And if they're not taking personal responsibility for themselves, you can't be responsible for them, unless obviously it's your children. That's something slightly different again. But there still comes a point where they need to take that responsibility. So it's just something I thought we'd have a little chat on today, as we're building into the full moon and we talk about releasing and we talk about what let go. So that gives you something to think about there. And because we've got Mercury in Libra, it is all about harmony, it is all about balance, and it's all about doing something, not being a pushover, but putting your boundaries or putting things, your goals in place in a more harmonious way. So we don't have to have I mean, there's so much going on social media. I can't bear Facebook. I much prefer Instagram. I use Facebook mainly for my page and my group. I can't bear all the people just putting crap out there about whatever. But they're all jumping on the bandwagon. But there's so much negative vibes. There's so much hatred. People doing this, people wearing a mask, not wearing a mask. Do you know what? Don't worry about it. I'm sure there's bigger things in your life that you need to worry about. Certainly is in mine. And I just think sometimes we can get drawn into that negative vibe, but your personal responsibility is whether you're going to let it or not. If you're getting fed up with something, turn it off. If you're getting fed up with somebody, move away from them. Take that personal responsibility. Don't allow them to keep on draining you. And it's really difficult when it's a parent as well, when it is a child. And I'm not going to include mental health here. I'm just going to include anything without mental health, because that's a different ballgame. But it's really difficult when there's that real strong emotional attachment to say, see ya, because you still want to be there. But you have to think about yourself at the end of the day, and you have to think about, do you know what, I'm just banging my head against a brick wall here. I need to change it and change the vibration. And I expect if you changed the way you were, they would probably end up changing the way they were, or that relationship energy would change. And for the better, really, for the better. So just a bit of food for thought. Taking personal responsibility, stop blaming everyone else, doing the blame game, take a stand back, take a look at yourself, and think about how your actions are affecting the situation, not how other people's actions are, but your actions. And also think about how much power you give, how much medicine of yours do you give, how much do you take back at the end of the session, how much do you how do you feel? I've got my friend Hayley, I don't know if she's still on here. Every single time I'm with her, without a fail, I always come away uplifted. And I've said this to her, I mean, we've been friends since we've been 7, 8. And every single time, whenever we're in each other's company, always come away uplifted. She's got this amazing energy. We can talk about absolutely everything, from a wallpaper design to God. You name it, we can talk about absolutely anything. But the energy is always uplifting, and you always come away feeling inspired, feeling energetic, and that's the sort of people you want to be around. You want to be that type of person for someone, but that's the sort of energy that you want to be around. And if you're not, there's no point blaming, oh, I don't like my friends, I don't like this, I don't like that, I always feel down. Take a look at yourself and start working on yourself. Not going to go into the shadow side, because we've already done that on a talk, and there is something on YouTube that I did with shadow. So if you want to look into the shadow side of things, you can have a look on my YouTube. In a nutshell, it's something that you don't like about someone else. So if something riles you about somebody else, it's a part of you that you've probably not accepted. And a lot of people don't want to admit that. So you need to work deeper on yourself and find out your shadow self, that if you're getting constantly riled. But again, it's all about taking personal responsibility and thinking, why does that annoy me? Why does that? I can't bear, and I have to work this out. I can't bear the word light worker. I don't know why at the moment, I just don't like it. I think there's something, it's either because it's too airy-fairy, or there's something too godly about it. And I'm very down to earth. You know, I'm a Taurus sign, I'm a Capricorn ascendant, I'm super down to earth and grounded. So whether the word light worker is just a bit airy-fairy for me, or maybe it's just used too lightly, I don't know, but I can't bear the word light worker. But that's something with me. I have to deal with that. That's something that I have to work out, rather than just be like, oh God, I can't stand that word, and I don't like the person that's used it. That's not the case. I have to be like, okay, why don't and work on that. Whether I will or not, I don't know. But that's kind of like what shadow work is. So that's enough of our Thoughtful Thursday today. Let's have a little look at your cards. Okay, got some shares there. Thank you guys for sharing. Let's have a little look at your cards today. So today's main vibe, apart from we've got Mercury in Libra, today's main vibe, just going to see who we've got there. Thanks for all the hearts, guys. Okay. A few of you said tired of giving. Oh, I got quite a few. Yeah, look me up on Instagram, guys. I much prefer that. Much prefer Instagram. Polly, I don't like the words love and light. I know, it's weird, isn't it? There's a fluffy, weird thing there. Okay, this is really weird, this card. Okay, this is really weird. I think with some of those words, they just get used too much, and not really, the depth isn't within them. I think that's what it is. So this card, it's so weird, the card that you get picked, because last week, well, I can't remember the card that we picked, but it was very much in keeping with the talk on boundaries. This week we've got the 9 of Pentacles. Now this is all about, it's reaping what you sow. It's putting the energy into something and getting something back. And it's your hard work paying off, your fruits of your labour. But it's a very independent card. And what it also means is not to give too much away, particularly finances. And like I said, we're building into Taurus, the full moon in Taurus, which is about your values and about your money. So this is basically saying, don't give too much away. Don't give your finances. You know, we have some sponges, don't we? We've all been there. Usually friendships or relationships usually, but I guess sometimes it could be mums, dads, might be your parents, I don't know. I'm just talking on my experience where I've had it with ex-boyfriends before. Sponges, people who just take all the time. And that's, this card says, look, you've worked hard for all your stuff, don't give it away. So it's really bizarre that we picked this card today. How weird is that? Now, it's a super independent card. It's not the card you want when you're looking for relationship advice, I'll tell you that. It can sometimes indicate moves, house moves, but the main meaning of the card is to do with working hard and putting all your energy into something, knowing that you're going to get your rewards. It's a slow progress card. It's an earth sign, so earth signs are slow. So this is a slow progress card. So it indicates that things may not fall in your lap quickly, so you have to put the time and the effort into something to be able to get the results from it. But you will reap what you sow. I mean, if you look in the card, she's got all that glorious, bountiful around her. Everything's in bloom. She's got regal colours around her, and obviously she's got the finances there, the money there, the material gain there. So it's very strange, but that's what the message of the card is today. Don't give too much of yourself away. And try to look after your resources, but also your hard work will pay off. It is saying your fruits of your labour. So if you are working towards something, don't let anything stop you. Keep focused with your goals, because it may be slow progress, but do you know what I find? My tutor Mavis calls them shooting stars, and this is so true. When people are quick, when people get out there really quickly with things, they often fail. One-hit wonders, we've heard about a lot all the time. They might get out there really quick for whatever reason, whatever job they're doing, or a relationship that, you know, sparks right at the beginning, it's like full on, and then a little bit of time later it wanes. So doing something with slow progress is a lot better. Doing something that takes it time is a lot better. And how many times have you done something and then realised actually halfway through, not too sure about that, and you've tweaked it or you've changed it? Whereas if you've gone straight out there with it, it's going to fall. So by doing something slowly, you've got the adaptability to be able to change it, to get it right. And you know, with the earth sign here, it's about practical things, doing things practically, making sure that you're doing things correctly. So don't worry about doing things slow. This card does say that your hard work will pay off there. All right. Just see what a few comments we've got there. Debbie, it says, I've always given too much of myself to everyone, and I find it very hard to take back. It is really hard, especially when it's not your nature. It is really, really hard. And sometimes you have to be stung once, twice, or 3 times for you to have a wake-up call, which is what happened to me. For you to have a wake-up call and say, hold on a minute, I'm just not doing this again. And it's really difficult when it's not your nature. And you probably find that you end up having somebody who actually does deserve to have much more of your power, because they are genuine, but because you've been stung, you're not going to give all your power. You're learning your lesson, and that's just the way it is. It's just the way it is there. But it's at the end of the day, the buck does start with you, Debbie. So you have to be thinking, okay, if I'm giving too much of myself, I'm just going to take a tiny little bit back. As hard as it is, it's something you're going to have to work on there if you don't want to keep doing that. Gemma, get used too much, and half the time not sincere. Yeah, again, you know, when you're psychic as well, you just get a little inkling, don't you? Sometimes get a little inkling like, something's not right here. Something's not right here. And then the nice side of you, because, no, I'm wrong, my gut feeling's wrong. But there's something niggling there. Yeah, insincere people do one. Kerry, love your pearls of wisdom during these chats. Oh, thank you. Glad someone does. What if it's a child and you can't? what do you mean, Vicky? What if it's a child? What if it's a child that's taking all your energy and you can't take your power back? There's no such thing as can't. There's no such thing as can't. You can do something. It may mean that you need to get outside help, and you might have to get some people with the school for help, some extra advice there, but there will be something there that you can do. You might have to think outside the box. If it's a mental health problem, totally different. I'm not going to go there, because that is a whole different kettle of fish, mental health. It's not the average that you can think. I'm going to say normally, but I don't quite mean it like that there would be, you have to maybe work a lot harder and dig a bit deeper there. And I'm not a counsellor, so I can't say too much about it. Although having said that, I have done basic counselling, which I think is important when you're reading for people to do basic counselling. Anyway, that's my opinion. Zoe's going to look me up on Instagram. Great advice, hope it works out for you. Thank you for sharing, Sue. Food for thought. Thank you, Rachel. But they need me, tired of giving, but they need me. Do they need you, Rachel, or do you need to be needed? That's what you need to think about. You need to think about, do they really need you, or is it your own desire to be needed? Have a little think on that. Have a little think on that. And the cup sending positive vibes. Cool, I think I've caught up with everybody there. Okay, so let's have a little card for you guys. Who's let me know they've done me some shares? Let's just go up to the top. My light's a bit bright, isn't it, today? Let's just go up to the top. Who's let me know they've shared? Actually, Zoe, I am drawn to you. Zoe Arts, I am drawn to you. So, hope you're still there. Hope I've not bored you. You've jogged on. Right, okay. Zoe, this is your card. It is the moon, and you actually put that moon. Okay, it's the moon card. Now, the moon, Zoe, this is saying to you that there's illusions and delusions around you. There's things that aren't quite right at the moment. You might be feeling extra sensitive. You could be feeling a little bit, maybe not sleeping very well. The weird dreams that people are having at the moment are just crazy. I mean, my dreams are pretty, like, drug-induced anyway, you think. But they're even weirder at the moment. I can't actually make a lot of sense of them. But Zoe, this is saying you need to have your wits about you. Trust your intuition and just wait and see. You've got the crayfish coming out of the water here. So what he indicates is friend or foe. Is it safe? Is it not? You're just weighing something up because there's something that's not quite clear to you at the moment. It is a major card, so it is an important message. But it's illuminating, and the moon is illuminating something to you that may be not quite right.
Fix the phone.
You fix the phone. Yes. Hallelujah. Look. Excellent. Well done.
I had to reset it.
Did you?
And then I had to reset it again because it still didn't work. And then I had to power it up. And then
But you figured it out. That 3 hours tied to your phone was worth it then.
Yeah.
Go and have breakfast now. Go and reward yourself. So, sorry about that. So, Zoe, yes, illumination of things that aren't quite what they seem. Sometimes this card comes up when there's deceit. Sometimes this card comes up when there is untoward goings on, but not all the time. But it's in a nutshell indicating that you need to really weigh things up, Zoe, and make sure that you have your wits about you and that you just test the waters a little bit before you go full steam ahead into something. Trust your gut feeling, all right? Okay, let's see else who's had some shares for me there. Right, Rachel, thank you for sharing. Go on, my stomach's rumbling. I'm going to have some food in a minute. Right, Rachel, this is your card, the Chariot. Gorgeous card. This is actually my favourite card in the deck. Chariot, this is about overcoming obstacles. It's indicating that there could be some challenges going on around you, Rachel. There could be some challenges, there could be some uphill struggles at the moment, and you may have had to get over quite a few things, but there's success around it. So even though it could be difficult, stay focused on your goal and you'll get what you want at the end of it. You'll have achievement, you'll have victory and success at the end of it. Whatever it is that's going on around you, Rachel, it's indicating, yes, there's hurdles, yes, there's uphill struggles, but there's victory at the end of it. You may have to take control of a situation, and not in a way that you've got to crack the reins, but in a way that's, again, it's talking about your power, it's talking about you being in control and leading the way, if you like, not letting others push you off course there. All right, and we're going to do... Oh, my lovely Violet. Good morning, Violet. Are you still with us? Let's have a little card for you, Violet. How are you doing? Okay, Violet, this card is for you. It's the Trying Times card, Violet. Now, what this card indicates, I don't know if you're like me and you get that SAD, that seasonal additional disorder. I can't bear the dark nights. You know, really gets to me. I'm going to get one of those lamps. But what this card says, if things are a little bit difficult for you at the moment, if there is some trying times, could be financially there, could be materialistically, or it could just be generally just going through a bit of a rough patch. It indicates not struggling on your own. Try and ask for help, ask for support, get other people to help you through these sort of challenging times. It's only a minor card, so it doesn't indicate anything hugely, but it could just be a little bit of a blip that you're going through. But also, Violet, this says that other people are there. There are people to help. I don't know how stubborn you are. I don't know if you're that stubborn, actually. But you might not want to ask for help, even though it is there. So you'll prefer to struggle on your own. But the help is there. It is going to be easier if you do say yes to some people there, all right? If you prefer to struggle on your own, which some people might, then just be aware it will be more harder, more difficult. Do watch your pennies a little bit over the next couple of months. Watch what comes in, watch what goes out there. And I feel that there's a stuck feeling, Violet. I don't know whether you're up north or whether you're in London at the minute, but I do feel the challenge of the isolation there. So make sure that you reach out and make sure that you are prepared for it, you know, and that way it won't be as challenging. But although it is a trying times card, Violet, it is indicating it's only temporary, luckily. It's just through these winter months, to be honest. But there is help there. There is help there. So make sure you ask or look for it or accept it. All right? Okay, guys, that's me. That's my lot. Got to go and eat something. So have a fabulous Thursday, and I'll be back tomorrow at 9:30 for your full moon in Taurus chat. Full moon in Taurus chat. And what I may do is I might do it at the same time, or I might do it as a separate live. I'm not sure. We could go through all your star signs and see what is going on with the full moon in Taurus for your particular star sign. But we'll see how the time goes tomorrow. All right, guys, have a great day. Thanks for listening. Thanks for the shares. Take care. See you tomorrow. Bye.